Break out the board shorts and sunblock. We're playing Hawaii.
Yes, here we go.
A small-sided game is a scrimmage with a twist. In this one, we're helping players work on shooting from a distance and transitioning between attacking and defending. Use cones to create a square space, then place goals or pairs of cones about 5 yards back from your grid, 2 goals on each end. Divide your players into 2 teams, 1 in pennies. You can play 3v3, 4v4, or 5v5. Here, we're playing 3v3. Here's how it looks. Players scrimmage without goalies. Players can score on either goal on their end line, but they have to shoot from inside the grid. The idea is for players to hone their shooting accuracy in the midst of a chaotic, fast-moving game. Don't worry about throw-ins or kick-ins. Just keep a bunch of balls next to you, coach, and keep feeding them in. We want players looking up to find the nearest goal as soon as they receive the ball, then seeing if they can take a shot right away. But they'd better move fast because a smaller space makes the defender's job a lot easier. Expect plenty of turnovers, with players transitioning frequently between attacking and defending. Just add that to the why this game is great pile. Coaches, embrace the chaos and fun in this game and consider resisting the urge to correct your players or give immediate feedback. Sometimes the best coaching is observing. Remember, look for the goal, win the ball, take the shot. If you close your eyes, you can almost smell the ocean breeze. You'll need those feet to go head-to-head. This is 1v1 to small goals. Here, players are working on dribbling, shooting, attacking, and defending. Use 4 cones to mark your space with a goal or pair of cones on each end line. Divide players into 2 teams, 1 in pennies. Here's how it looks.
Play!
Each side sends in 1 player at a time.
Nice move, Sheridan!
Players score by kicking the ball into the goal or through the cones below knee height.
Excellent! Hey, Charlie, great job. Way to stay with it all the way to the end.
When a player scores or the ball goes out of bounds, a new round begins. Encourage attackers to look for the goal when they win the ball to see if they can shoot right away, and if not, to use their speed when dribbling, with small touches to get around their opponent and bigger touches to get away. Encourage defenders to try to stay between the attacker and the goal to block opportunities to score. Coaches, it's hard to go wrong with this game because it's just like scrimmaging, but each player gets more touches on the ball. Keep an eye on pairing so players aren't outmatched, or play the ball to the less skilled player to level the field a bit. Remember, attackers, use your speed. Defenders, protect the goal and wait for your moment. Small goals, big dreams.
This game is trouble, double trouble. This is 2v1 to goal. Here, we're helping players learn how to double up against a single defender. Create a rectangular grid with a goal or pair of cones on one end. Divide players into 2 teams, 1 in pennies, starting on opposite end lines. Here's how it looks. 2 attackers initiate play from their end line and are met by 1 defender. The attackers work together to try to score. If the defender intercepts the ball, they can score by dribbling the ball over the end line. When a player scores or the ball goes out of bounds, new players rotate in and a new round begins. The idea is for attackers to use their number to their advantage by getting the defender to commit to the ball, then passing it to their teammate. When it works, it's a beautiful thing.
Nice shot, Caroline!
Coaches, defenders have a thankless job here and may get discouraged. Remind them that this game is meant to be challenging. And rotate players so everyone gets a turn playing both ends. Remember, draw in the defender, work as a team, and take the shot. Yes, good things do come in pairs. Here's a way to get the upper hand, foot. It's called 3v2 to goal. This game helps players learn to use an extra attacker to their advantage. Create a rectangular grid with a goal or pair of cones on one end. Divide players into 2 teams, 1 in pennies, starting on opposite end lines. Here's how it looks.
Play!
3 attackers initiate play from their end line and are met by 2 defenders who enter from the goal end. The attackers work together to try to score.
Nice shot, Caroline!
If defenders intercept the ball, they can score by dribbling the ball over the end line. When a player scores or the ball goes out of bounds, new players rotate in and a new round begins.
Switch!
We want the attackers to spread out, not bunch together. Tell players to imagine an open hand instead of a closed fist. This gives attackers more options with the ball when they're under pressure. Encourage attackers to dribble at the defenders, like this, to force the defender to commit to the ball and open up space to pass around them. Ooh, just like that. Coaches, these girls are really good. If you're doing this with younger or less experienced players, it might look a lot messier. Don't lose heart, that's why you practice. Remember, spread out, dribble at the defender, attack as a team. Simple soccer math, 3v2 equals 1 goal.
Yes, even the smallest Ewok can take a decent shot. We call this game Space Wars, so we don't get sued by a certain movie company. But you can call it anything you want, and may the Force be with you.
Let the Space Wars begin.
Here, we're working on dribbling, shooting, and hitting the bad guy, aka you, the coach. Use 4 cones to create a small square space. Every player gets a ball. You're Darth Vader, Jabba, Kylo Ren, or have your team pick a villain. Here's how it looks. Players dribble around the space, trying to vaporize you by shooting the ball and hitting you below the knee. This part is key to make the game fun for them, but safe for you. Tell your Jedi to dribble in close and shoot from close range only. And while it's unlikely to hurt, you can't go wrong throwing in a dramatic flop when you get nailed. Coaches, instead of aiming for a galaxy far, far away, remind players to focus on precision over power when shooting. And to keep their heads up to see their teammates and avoid friendly fire. Remember, dribble in close, take aim, get the bad guy. Much fun this game is.
Big things can come in small packages, like the skills learned in this game. We're playing 2v2 to small goals attacking. This 2-on-2 scrimmage helps players develop their team attacking and shooting skills. Use 4 cones to mark a small rectangular space and place small goals or pairs of cones placed arm's length apart on each end line. Divide your players into 2 teams, 1 in pennies. Here's how it looks. 2 attackers initiate play from their end, trying to score on the goal or between the cones, below knee height, like this. The 2 defenders can steal or intercept the ball and score too. And when a player scores or the ball goes out of bounds, new players rotate in and a new round begins.
So next one.
We want attackers learning to spread out, not clump together, with the attacker without the ball finding open space, so when their teammate with the ball meets a defender, they have options. They can pass the ball, like this, or try to take the defender on. Coaches, players might be so excited to scrimmage, they may burst out wildly and make mistakes, which can lead to turnovers. Encourage them to be patient and to work with their teammate to get closer to the goal before taking their shot. Remember, spread out, find open space, and pass to your teammate. This game has a fraction of the players, but 100% of the fun. We're spreading the wealth in this scrimmage. We call it More to Score. A small-sided game is a scrimmage with a twist. This one rewards teamwork. The more we share, the better we do.
Nice shot! Well done, Sam!
Use 4 cones to create a rectangular grid with a goal or pair of cones on each end line. Divide players into teams of 3, 4, or more. If you have an odd number of players, you can make 1 player all-time offense. Here, we're playing 4v4. Here's how it looks. Players scrimmage without goalies. Players score by kicking the ball into the goal or between the cones below knee height. There are no corners or throw-ins, and if a ball goes out of bounds, it's a kick-in. Simple enough, right? Not so fast. The point of this game is not just to score as many goals as possible. It's to get as many different players to score as you can. Whoever gets the most players on their team to score in 5 minutes wins the round. As the game goes on and more players score, it may get harder for the ones who haven't scored yet. That's because a clever opponent will focus on them more, so encourage players to dig into their toolbox for creative ways to maneuver past defenders.
Remember, if you can't find a shot, find a teammate who can.
Coaches, use this game to reinforce the teaching points you worked on during practice. Focus on defending skills? Look for great examples of individual defending. Or step back and take it in. Sometimes good coaching is simply observing and giving players a chance to solve problems for themselves. Remember, work as a team. Be creative. Take a shot. Sharing is caring. Today's forecast calls for goals. Lots of goals. This is 4v4 to 4 goals attacking. Here, we're developing teamwork, passing, and attacking skills. Use 4 cones to set up a rectangular space. Place a small goal or pair of cones placed arm's length apart on each end of each end line. 4 goals in all. Divide your players into 2 teams, 1 in pennies. Here's how it looks. 4 attackers initiate play, trying to score on either of their 2 goals below knee height. 4 defenders can steal or intercept the ball and score 2. No goalies, corners, or throw-ins. If the ball goes out of bounds, it's a kick-in. It's hard not to love this game. You have double the goals. Your attackers may run parallel to each other at first. This is natural. Encourage them to stagger their positioning, like so, to spread out so they can find open space to receive a pass. This forces defenders to defend the entire field, which is challenging. When an attacker receives a pass, their first move should be to check if they have an open shot on the goal. If not, can they get it to a teammate who can? Coaches, remind your players that the ball can move faster than they can, especially with quick passes. Too slow, and a defender might step in and steal it away. Remember, spread out. Find the goal. Make the pass. Who needs Fortnite when you've got 4v4?
Head-on goals are so last year. We're playing Goals Out. Like other small-sided games, this one is a scrimmage with a twist. Here, we're helping players learn to spread out when attacking. Use cones to set up a rectangular grid and place 2 goals spaced 10 feet apart, spanning the center of each end line. Rotate each goal so it's angled 45 degrees towards the nearest touchline. You'll end up with 4 goals angled out to the left and right sides of the field instead of facing the field head-on. Divide your players into 2 teams, 1 in pennies. You can play 3v3, 4v4, or more. Here, we're playing 4v4. Here's how it looks. Players scrimmage without goalies. Players score by kicking the ball into either of their goals below knee height. As your players will discover, it's a little harder than it looks. With the goals angled outward, attackers need to get in closer to score, which means spreading out horizontally across the field to receive a wide pass and shoot. This is a good habit to build because it forces players to get the ball to the player in best position to score. And if that doesn't work, they can always try bending the ball. Coaches, encourage players to strike the ball slightly below and to the outside of the center of the ball to give it spin. Like any skill, bending the ball takes time and practice. Encourage players to give it a try and praise their effort. Remember, spread out, make the pass, bend the ball. Just like magic. This game is generating a lot of buzz. It's called Mosquitoes. Here, we're working on basic dribbling and shooting skills. Create a small square with cones and divide your players into 2 groups, Mosquitoes, who each get a ball, and Campers, who don't. Here's how it looks.
Go!
The Mosquitoes dribble their balls and chase the Campers, trying to hit them with their ball below the knee.
Oh, it was too high. Keep playing. It's got to be on the ground, Sebastian.
Mosquitoes who land a bite switch roles with the unlucky Campers.
Keon, you're a mosquito. Madison, you're a camper.
And the game continues until you call time. We want Mosquitoes dribbling as close to the Campers as they can before taking their shot, keeping their heads up to find their targets and navigate the chaos.
Oh, go get it, Enzo.
It's the chaos that makes it fun, like tag, but with projectiles. And like tag, it helps players develop their coordination and agility. Coaches, remind players not to strike at Campers from a distance. They're shooting to hit their target, not the parking lot. Remember, heads up. Dribble in close to strike, below the knees. This one will leave them itching for more.